Hi, everyone. It's Corey Wesley coming to you live and in living color from New York, Harlem, to be exact. Welcome to Kitchen Table Talk with me. And I have a special guest, the most talented person. I admire her, her tenacity. She is a go-getter. And in the pandemic, she has kept her name out there. And I wanted to talk to her. And Zeta-Jones, thank you for participating and chatting with me, being in quarantine at home with Zeta-Jones. Mm-hmm. So, Zeta, how have you been? How have you been surviving during the quarantine?
I've been doing pretty good. I think quarantine it's been really interesting. So I feel like people have either really come towards it or people have ran from it. I definitely went towards it. I was just shocked to find out that the way I live my life is called quarantining.
Oh, okay. So you're used to being at home. I mean.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
when I'm not out, I actually like being at home. I prefer it.
You do? I mean, you have such a dynamic personality as performing. You're outside of drag, you're more reserved, you would say?
I guess I would just say that if I'm out, I'm definitely having a good time. And if I'm home, I'm either creating or I'm just Netflix and chilling or, tucking my nuts between my legs to go outside.
That's true. So, I mean, you said that you could either run away from quarantine or accept it. What's one thing that you've learned about yourself during this time?
I wouldn't say learned, but I would definitely say I've been rediscovering a lot of like my old makeup stuff. Okay. I really find that like for me currently, like drag the past couple years has been a little bit boring. Everyone has the same cut crease. Everybody has and uses the same foundation, the same designers. I think I've been saying this for the past couple of years, that the pretty much general consensus is that there's a really big cookie cutter of drag right now. And there's some great things in that. And there's some things where it's just kind of like, okay.
Right.
Okay. And I think the biggest thing is like, I'm getting back to being an artist again. I'm doing less cut creases, definitely doing more, like saying fuck it to the rules. Okay. This is the time to play. This is the time where you, like today, I wanted to just do red, blown out, for whatever reason. I saw a picture from an amazing makeup artist, Val Garland, and I was like, how can I remix that? And I've been doing that through different looks, taking inspirations. I just did a shoot with my lovely boyfriend that was inspired by Antonio Lopez.
Okay.
And that was inspired by, I would definitely say like a futuristic geisha.
Okay.
And we put my body in a whole bunch of milk and I came out supple, honey. And so
yes, I saw that. I think that picture is the most gorgeous picture I've seen. It was really why I wanted to chat with you because it stood out.
Yeah.
Basically, because we're in a period right now where we're not physically seeing you, but you really, truly are in our homes every day, by the things that you're doing. And that's why I'm very impressed by you. I noticed that you were part of the We Are in This Together campaign. How did that come about? You look stunning, as always.
Yeah. It was really cool. I got a text message. I think it was actually from posting those pictures. I got a text message from a friend of mine who knew the photographer that was doing it. And they were like, hey, do you have some free time one day to do this? And I said, yeah. But what the fuck else am I gonna do?
Right.
And I thought it was a really great cause. I've been like #1 in social distancing. It's tough to social distance. I think it's a very serious thing. It's a very selfless thing to social distance. So yeah, just, ABC connected and we had the time and we shot it outside my apartment. And it was just a really nice, magical moment. My boyfriend helped out with the shoot. Even my poodle got in on it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, you and your boyfriend have been quarantined together. What about that? What has been the benefit and the joy of being together, or has it been a struggle being together constantly?
I will definitely say the best things about it is that we're learning a lot of intimacy, and it's different forms of intimacy. I will definitely say like we're getting back to a place where we are just laughing a lot, having a lot of fun. There are challenging times, like you have to learn, like, and I think this is something that's really big in especially gay relationships, is that you really have to learn to communicate. I consider myself in between gender.
Okay.
I don't really prescribe to male or female. I just kind of sashay into the room. But yeah, like you really have to think about how you're going to approach something with your partner because you're in such close proximity all the time. And you also have to know when to step away. Like yesterday, he was in the living room watching Star Trek, and I was watching a little bit of it too. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to take some space for me. I'm sure he's going to need space. And so I was just in the bedroom all day, chilling, looking at magazines, ordering more makeup, you know, rhinestoning shit.
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
it's important to know when to come together and when to separate. Because you need to have autonomy. Yes, that's the word.
Yeah.
Especially when you live with another person, regardless of your relationship with them.
Right, because the reason why I asked is due to the fact that there's an increase in domestic violence, and a lot of people don't talk about domestic violence in gay relationships. And I see you guys where you're posting on your TikToks, and you're together, and you seem like you're, you know, everything is an ebb and flow. And I think it's important for our community to hear, you know, how it's working, because this is a stressful time for all of us.
Yeah, and I think the key is to not just sit there. I think the key is to do stuff. Like we did like this stupid exorcist video at like 2 a.m.
I love it.
Just like the best thing about our relationship is that we are friends.
Okay.
I would say that we are boyfriends first, right? He's over there.
What?
Would you say that we're boyfriends first or friends first?
I hire you from a magazine, girl. I don't know.
Oh. Bitch! Do you see the respect? Not the physical violence. No. Yeah, like we have a great relationship, and I think the key is to do stuff. Don't just sit there and look at them and, you know, be like, oh, when I'm horny, we'll fuck, and then we're just gonna like float around each other, which I do think happens in a lot of gay relationships. They just end up floating and not really investing in that relationship or know what that looks like. And that looks like through making dinner together. It looks like
talking about my feelings.
Oh, he hates talking about feelings.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Oh, and I'm a big old wuss. I'm just like, I'm like, do you want to take a bath?
Right. I love to talk. My feelings are easy to explain, you know, express, but some people are uncomfortable with that. But that's awesome that you have that relationship. I mean, creatively, it seems that you guys have been working with each other a lot more since you've been in the scene. Were you working?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Were you working together prior to that a lot? And then how are you coming up creatively together? Is he giving input, or you giving full direct control?
So we have worked together a few times, and I guess the ideas kind of come spur in the moment, and then we might plan it a little bit, but we're both very alpha. So, so we kind of do a tug and pull for control.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's two creative minds trying to figure out how to get a really cool result. And I think once you get that down, it's really, it's never easy, because you're trying to get an idea literally from space to an image. So a creative process is going to be as individual and unique as the people that are involved. And for us, sometimes it's a struggle to like get the words out to say what we mean. In terms of like, I have this idea. It's very Antonio Lopez. And like he'll look at me like, what the hell are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like sometimes it just depends. It really depends. But a lot of things we're doing more and more now, and now we're becoming more comfortable working with each other so intimately like that, and we're learning how to play all over again. And I think that's one of the opportunities that quarantine actually offers people, is that it gives you the opportunity to discover and play with your makeup, play with your photography, play with your voice, you know, whatever your realm of creativity is. Just fucking say fuck the rules, because we're not going anywhere. And if you look like shit, you can just take it off. Yeah, and like I think this is a really important time to validate different forms of art and like drag related stuff. Like there's more than just the pageant girl look, you know. I know that's coming from me because I love looking like, you know, a big pile of condoms just fell out of me. But
but you appreciate other art forms and other forms of the drag as a craft, correct?
Yeah. It's about more than just the same thing happening all the time.
Yeah, and since you brought that up, I know that we chatted briefly about Drag Race, and you've been, you know, engaging your audience and your followers a lot in that conversation. My thoughts, or wanted to find out what you thought about, I find that there's been a big argument and strife, and some of the cultural backgrounds are clashing, meaning that I find Drag Race are becoming very nasty and
there's a lot of conflict. I mean, this season was definitely hit with a few things, you know. They had that whole scandal with one of the contestants. They have C Void. They have, I guess you could say different racial backgrounds are kind of clashing.
Okay.
And it boils down to this. Everyone has an opinion. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Who do you like? What do you like? Everyone's opinion about what they prefer is always going to be based on their own experiences. It's going to be based on what resonates with them, what they respond to. I would be lying if I didn't say there's definitely something there when you see someone like Jada Essence Hall, who in my mind is like the bee's fucking knees. She's been professional, poised. She can do it all. I mean, she can't tell a pee and pageant joke to save her life.
Right.
But
right.
But I'm sure if she had another day to work on it, it would have been A+.
Right.
And then like you go online and you see like these little skinny white bitches, you know, not to be sucking dick with my pinky out, but you do see it's a numbers thing. And you can't talk about like Bob the Drag Queen, because Bob the Drag Queen has more than 1 million.
Right.
And she worked for that shit.
Right.
But she, I would say, she was more of an exception. You can't look at her and say, well, there you go across the board. There is something there, but because I'm white, I don't have a Black experience, I can't speak to that.
Right.
Yeah, but I see it and acknowledge it, and I definitely fight for the girls that I think are talented, regardless of where they come from and what color they are or what their drag is. Like, I also love Crystal Method and Gigi. I'm very happy with this top 3.
No, I mean, that's the one thing about you that I admire and respect. I have high regard for you because you do stand up for others. And you appreciate your craft, but you understand that the hard work that goes into, even though you might not want to be in that arena, because you have a name for yourself and you pretty much are doing it. Just like they have that platform, you have your own platform, but I think you support both platforms and individuals, and that's what I respect about you.
And I think it's really cool. Like, if you are a drag queen and you have the opportunities, I think you owe it to your community to give those opportunities out. A lot of times people say like, what's life going to do for me? I want this, I want that, I want this, you know, I want it now, Veruca Salt. But not many people really ask. I paid my light bill, did you see? The lights went on. Thank you, Con Ed. But not a lot of people ask about what they can do for their community. And because I've always been a particular person where I never looked at certain things, like color, or like people's, like I never really had like a standard to judge people, I guess.
Okay.
So I always based my judgments, because we're all human, we all judge. I based it off of things like, oh, do they work hard? Talk to them first, get to know them.
Right.
And I think that's what can help. But I think it's about saying, what can I do for the community? Okay. Instead of just what can the community do for me?
No, I appreciate that. I mean, so moving towards, you know, being in quarantine and as we're approaching reopening, what do you think, how is drag going to change? Because you are such a dynamic performer, you are greetable, you are welcoming. How are you going to change the way you are to keep yourself safe and then others?
Well, I'm definitely, it's one of those things where you have to really take into consideration, how are you going to keep the people that come and see you and support you the safest? And how are you going to keep yourself the safest while letting them escape for the hour or 2 hours or however long the engagement is? How do you find that balance? And little things like, I know there's a lot of drag queens that will put money in their mouth. Don't do that. I know there's a lot of drag queens that will just walk up to somebody and kiss them.
Okay.
If it's welcomed, I'm not saying like people are just
right.
If it's like a welcome thing. But I think the gay culture is going to change a lot. I think that people are going to be more privy to their safety and maybe executing a standard for themselves that works. And then you're also going to see the complete opposite. People who don't take care of themselves and maybe have a drug addiction, maybe love the party a little too much, honey, which we all saw, which is interesting. Honey, I was like, girl.
Exactly, like, girl, like, what you doing?
You know, I was just upset that I didn't get an invitation. Call me bitter.
I know, right? I wasn't there.
I was also very upset that Allison Mossy sent back all my audition tapes. I was so upset. But you're gonna see two things. You're gonna see people either pull up to the bumper and really care about their friends and their community, or you're gonna see people be locked into something like an addiction, like a thing, a mindset, whatever they want to call it, and maybe not take care of themselves.
So, I mean, what do you think, what part of performing do you miss now that we have been in quarantine for so long?
I do miss feeding off a crowd. I miss also just like seeing friends, and I miss the community aspect of it. So like, I'm a community person, so I thrive in community. You know, I do love staying home. I love crafternooning. I love doing a lot of stuff. But yeah, like it's our community.
Okay.
And it's not just about money. It's not just about it's not about the superficial things. It's about being able to look into your friend's eyes and be like, hey bitch, how are you? You know, like, what's going on in your world, and really caring about each other. And I do think that is something that has been lacking for our community from a long time. And being in quarantine, it gives us a different way. Whoops, sorry.
That's okay.
Am I back? There we go. It gives us a different way to communicate. And I can't wait to see how people are going to continue that outside of it. Because now we have nothing to do but talk and spend time with each other.
Right. So once quarantine is kind of over, although the pandemic will still be in effect until
Mhm.
there's a vaccine and a cure or some types of vaccine, what is the first thing that you're going to do?
Go to a bathhouse. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's on my list.
I'm gonna walk down to one of those massage places, like Hey Sis or whatever the fuck they're called, and get me a nice foot rub. And by foot rub, I mean balls. No,
Right.
no. I think the first thing I'm gonna do is, I think it's gonna be a lot of go out and see your friends, give them the fist bump, give them the Nancy Pelosi. Uh,
Right.
I think it's just gonna, I'm just gonna have such a strong desire to be around the community that I love
Well,
and the talent that I love. Go and see drag shows. Go and see drag shows, not just the Drag Race girls. Go and see all the drag shows, even if they're a booger.
No, I agree with that. I mean, that's what I also admire about you. And when we interviewed you in February for Overmag, that was why I wanted to interview you, because you are always working.
Yeah, I'm always doing something.
You're always doing something, but it's a positive, because I think what you presented was that Drag Race girls have taken that shine, but I always said that you have your own shine, you're making it on your own, you made a name for yourself, you're always reinventing yourself creatively. I always see a different side of you through pictures or even dancing, how you dance. You're so passionate. That's why I hope everyone does go see you and all the other queens that are not on the show, to support you guys. Now, I just have one or two more questions. I mean, with your connection with your audience, how are you connecting with them now, just through social media? What other creative ways do you think, as we move forward, are you going to connect?
Yeah, I mean, well, thank you for the lovely compliment.
Oh, you're very welcome.
I heard that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
But that's interesting. There's so many ways that you can connect with the audience. And I think, like, I work with Rebar quite a lot. Rebar on 19th Street in Chelsea. You have to go. They're so fun. They have so much diverse programming. But this presented an opportunity for small businesses, and like businesses like myself, like I would consider myself a small business, to extend the conversation with their patrons, extend the conversation with your clientele. And for me, my clientele is also personal. They're also my friends. I also invest time in them, and they invest time in me. So I first thing I thought was, like, how do I keep the conversation going in relation to the businesses that I'm an independent contractor with?
Okay.
It's a lot of words.
No, but yeah.
Yeah, so, and I think that's the key with all business. How do you keep conversation going? So that's why I went up, and I think we were the very first bar or venue in New York to really have like a drag queen show on the bars page every week at the same time, because we have a following and we don't want to lose the momentum, and I don't want them to think that I forgot about them or they were forgotten about.
Right.
And also it's a great mental release for me. So having something that your clients can come to that's a little bit familiar, and also individual to the person, that's what's important to me. And I think that's what's really separated me, is that I'm trying to find ways where we can still do what we're doing, but when we finally do see each other again in person, it's like we never said goodbye.
No. Well, there's not much more you can say to that. That is the most
business fish.
I know, you like gave it to us. Yes. Okay.
Girl, we have to find a new millionaire and get like an LGBT apprentice.
I'm telling you, I'm like, okay, wow, I'm speechless.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, I need a drink on that. You are fascinating. I think that you're.
Thank you. You should see what's under the skirt.
I'm mad. I think you, just even now speaking to you, I mean, everything I thought you were, and more.
Thank you.
You're very intelligent. You're very vast and aware of what's going on. And you're just talented in itself. So I want to say thank you for taking time out today.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
Oh no, thank you. I really am impressed by you. And I want you to be healthy, successful, and continue doing what you do.
Oh my God, thank you so much. And you know what, hey, every week we're doing a different theme at the shows. You know, I usually do Tuesday nights at 10:30 on Rebar Chelsea's Instagram.
Great.
You can also find that through my own page, the Zeta-Jones on Instagram. Last week we did sex ed, which was a lot of fun. And next week we're going to be doing space.
Okay. So everyone, you've heard where you can find her.
Yes.
Follow her, and if you can, tip her.
Tip her, honey. Yes.
Tip her. But this is Corey Wesley, and I would like to thank everyone for watching Kitchen Table Talk. Have a great time and be safe.
Yes. Live long and poppers.
All right.